So I shall speak today of pipes and patches, reporting on recent projects and concert mixing traditional and historical pipe organs and live electronics. So I want to describe as well the musical aspects as well as the technical aspects. First of all, I must acknowledge the work of many colleagues, mainly Marcus Neusternig, who is now at CIRMMT and who made much of the live electronic part of the work. Christian Jacquemin and Rémi Ajaj, who made the live video processing, and Bertrand Plane, who is an artist and who designed the visual aspect of part of the work, and many people helping for production. So the aim of the project is to mix a large pipe organ and live electronics. And the idea is to transform the inner sound of the instrument and to project this sound in the space of the room. So it's a way to explore new sounds and hopefully also new music with the help of this old instrument. And we are searching for fusion of electronic and acoustic sources. So thinking that electronics is a natural extension of the synthesis capabilities of the pipe organ. It's not organ plus electronics, but an organ with other sounds. And it's also a multimodal augmented reality project to fit in the Axis 4, I think, and invitation. I had the challenge to put this word, I think, on the slides. So, as a matter of fact, there is a visual part also. The organ is a very special instrument because usually you don't see the player playing, at least in traditional church organs. So it's also interesting to give something to look at. And in modern concert, very often there is some video and you see the organist playing from the side like that. But in this project, we tried also to display other aspects. And it's also interesting to, because audiovisual interaction helps also people to listen to the music and attract much attention, even for children also. So an augmented instrument is, according to Marcelo Vanderlei, the original instrument maintaining all these features, but with the addition of extra features. So this is exactly the idea here. We want to blend electronic and traditional registers, and not to reinforce the sound or to change the sound, just because an organ in a room is very carefully voiced. It's a technical term. It means that each pipe is carefully set in order to have a good sound in this room. So we have to take care not to destroy that with electronics. So if possible, this project have been done on different organs, but if possible, it's better to use a tracker organ because you have more control on the instrument. In order to play with the inner sound of the organ, using all the sources of sound inside the organ. So do not change the power balance of the instrument. And use the room acoustics as a natural sound mixer for blending acoustic and electronic sound. You need 2 or 3 musicians, something to play the organ, somebody to play the organ, somebody to play the electronics, and eventually somebody to blow. So today I will discuss, or I will just remind you some aspects of how an organ works, and then give some principles of digital audio augmentation, some principles also for video augmentation, video and sound examples. And after that, we shall have some time for discussion if you are interested. So just to give some figures, some ideas, I take France as a reference for that. There are about 8,000 organs in France. So it's one organ for 7,500 people. More organs than cinemas today. And 10% of these organs are historical monuments. In France, you have the Ministry of Culture that decides that there is a committee and who decide what instrument is historical or not, and there are consequences for restoration, money, and things like that. So I put some picture of nice organs. So this one is not French. It's Swiss. It is the oldest organ in the world still playing in Sion. It's in the Valais. The Valais is the French-speaking part of Switzerland. And Strasbourg, part of the organ is from 14th century. Sion is 15th century, and Cathédrale d'Amiens, the case is 15th century. 16th and 17th century, so le Monastier sur Gazeille, Saint-Savin, 16th century, 17th century, Juvigny, et Rodez. It's a pity because the pictures are not very good here, but they're very nice case. 18th century, Bordeaux, 19th century, Saint-Sulpice, La Madeleine, Saint-Eustache in Paris. And more contemporary tracker organs, so Arras, l'Alpe d'Huez, Saint-Louis-en-l'Île in Paris, and Cathédrale Évreux Cathedral. So all that are traditional organs, because of course when the electricity came, the instrument was deeply transformed. Organ came from the word organ is coming from the word organon in Greek, which means body, an ensemble of pieces, something like that. So whatever you put together, it's an organ, and it gave the words organism, organization, to organize, organizer, and organ. So when the electricity came, of course, all sorts of new organs appeared. The first one were the electropneumatic or electric action organ. It means that for the pallet is pulled by an electropneumatic or electric system. Then came electric registers. It means that the selection of stops is made by electric transmission. Then came the electric blower. Before the electric blower, somebody was obliged to pump the air in the organ. And there is a song from the end of 19th century written by a guy called McGill on the poor old blower, describing the transition between the poor old blower and the electric blower. So at the beginning of 20th century came the electroacoustic or electronic organ. The most famous one is Hammond organ, which is still in use for jazz, and it was designed as a church instrument, but its real success was jazz. Then the digital organ, so where you record each pipe and playback each pipe. Proportional electric action, so it's a new electric action with an exact control of the position of the key. And now, particularly in America, there are many combinations organs. It means an organ with some rank of pipes and a large number of digital ranks. with auto-tuning between the ranks, and because of course the acoustic and electronic part do not have the same response to humidity and temperature, etc. So, and pipe organ and live electronics, it's another thing, but I think it's different because my idea is to use really a traditional instrument and to add electronics, not to try to improve the instrument by using electricity. I think that the tracker organ is quite a perfect instrument. So, no need to improve it. That's my opinion. we shall discuss. So, just to remind the different types of organ. So, at the beginning, all was mechanical with a monumental case, and then came first pneumatic technologies and electric technology. And okay. So now I will say a few words on one specific organ. It is the organ I am organist of, just because this one was used for the first concert with live electronics. So it worked on other instruments, but I want just to present one as an example. So this instrument is a 19th century instrument. It's a medium-sized instrument. 39 stops. Very large organ in France are about 80 stops or something like that. It's almost the limit for mechanical organs. In America, there are organs with 400 stops, something like that. But more like, I would say, theater organs. So organs without case, all the pipes are enclosed in chambers. It's like cinema organs or theater organs, but for traditional organ. This is a medium-sized organ with 42 registers, 3 keyboards, 1 pedal board, all the families of foundation stops, and many reed stops, 2 63 bombards, 5 trumpets. So over 2,300 pipes. And it is listed historical instrument. So now it's time to try the sound. Just to, first it's the plein jeu, mixtures, then the foundation stops, and after the reed stops, just to give an idea of the instrument, if it works. Foundations and the reeds after. Okay. So just to say that when you look at an organ, you see only a small portion of the pipes, 5% in this instrument, 100 pipes for 2000. And also the sound inside and outside are very different. And this is quite specific to the organ. So inside the organ, you have on this side the console, the keyboards and pedal board, a view of pipework, and also a view of the pumps and the wind reservoir. You can blow the organ by hand, and we use that for the concert. And you see also the action, so it's a tracker action. It means that there are mechanical links between the keyboard and the pallets. And all that are very good sources of sound, so you can take that sound and play with it. What is very specific to the organ is that an instrument is attached to a particular room. So it is made for a particular room, and it sounds in this particular room. So the room acoustics is very important for the organ. In the administration in France, we have the word, I don't know how to translate that, but c'est un meuble, immeuble par destination. So it's mobile, immobile by destination instrument. That's the definition. So a few words on the, as I spoke of the instrument, I will speak also of the church. So it's a medium-sized church. The dimensions are 45 meters long and 17 meters high. And it's a 17th century building, so all in stone. And we can listen to the inner sound inside the case. No? This is inside the positive, the small case in front of the instrument. So if you go to the first row, the sound is like that. And if you go in front of the altar, about 30 meters from the instrument, the sound is like that. So the sound inside is very different, and it's not very beautiful, but it's like that. And everywhere in the church, the sound is almost the same, and of course, much more interesting. So if we made also some measurements of room acoustics, and this is reverberation time at different positions in the church. P01, P11, so they are positioned in front of the organ to the altar. And as you can see, the curves are almost similar. It means that there is really a situation where we have an inner sound, and the outer sound is almost the same at every place in the church. And the reverberation time is about 3 to 4 seconds, so it's very good. Okay, some words on the different sounds that you can make with a pipe organ. You have few pipes like a flute of many octaves. In this instrument, from 16 feet to 2 feet. So the organ is the only domain in France where we still use the foot and feet for measuring the length of pipes, just because 8 feet is exactly the size, or almost exactly the size of a C. The C that we call in France C1, and that you call here probably something like, I don't know what, C2 or So it's the reason why we kept the measurement in feet. So it means that 8 feet is a normal octave, 16 feet 1 octave lower, 32 feet 2 octave lower, 4 feet 1 octave higher, etc. So there are also reed pipes. So reeds are produced with small reeds vibrating in a box, like kind of, I would say, bagpipe, something like that. You have a reed enclosed in a box. But there are also what we call mutation, maybe in English. So artificial harmonics, you can add fifths and thirds. And mixtures that are also artificial harmonics, but with aliasing. It means that when you go behind a ceiling, there is an aliasing. How to say that? It goes 1 octave lower, or 1/5 lower. Repeat. But there are also detuned pipes to make some ondulation using beating between pipes. Wind modulation, there are systems for putting mobile pieces of wood in the wind conduct. Swell box, which is an enclosed pipes, and you can change the opening of the box to change the radiation pattern. And of course, registration is the main mean to change the sound. And there are also action noise and wind noise. So I just want to say a few words on composition for the organ. Most of the composers for the organ are organist composers. But some other composers also had some interest for the organ. In the 60s, there was a burst of composition for organ due to Gerd Zahrer, who was still alive, with a German organist that commissioned a lot of work to many people like John Cage, Mauricio Kagel. There are also famous pieces by Ligeti for organ, because Ligeti music of the 60s like very much kind of small intervals and big. If you imagine his vocal music, you have the type of thing he tried with the organ. Chelsea made a piece, and there are a bunch of composer organists, the most famous being probably Olivier Messiaen, probably one of the most significant composers of the 20th century. But I think contemporary music composed for the organ will, by famous composers like that, it's not so much compared to the piano or violin or orchestra. The organ attracts not so much attention from composers. And these composers used extended techniques like clusters or moving clusters, wind control at the keyboard or at the registers, and very fast motion. Kagel also used percussion on the organ case and vocalizing in the organ, things like that. So let's come to digital augmentation. The idea is to modify the sound between the inner organ and the space. And also the sound can be spatialized using virtual acoustics. We tried that, but it's not so interesting. So other people tried this kind of thing. These are the composers I know that worked with organ and electronics, but maybe you know other, but not so many. Steve Everett made an important work. The first one, I listened to that also, is from Holland. Andrew Blackburn I never heard, I just noticed that it exists. And after the project I made in 2008 at CIRMMT, this composer, Yang Guo, came to see me and made quite same type of thing 1 year after with CIRMMT. So how does it work? The audio setup. The idea is to capture the sound inside the instrument and to distribute the sound in the church. This is the map for one of the concerts where the electronic musician was there, the organ is here, and we put an array of loudspeakers inside the church. After that, for other concerts, we preferred to integrate the loudspeakers in the instrument. So there is still a system installed now in St. Elizabeth, so nobody knows. And it's much better because if you put the loudspeakers around the audience, it sounds like organ plus electronics. So there is the organ, and you hear strange sounds coming from the loudspeaker. So I prefer much now integrate all, and then you don't know when the electronics plays or not. So for this first concert, we had 5 DPA microphones inside the instrument, a mixing desk, and pure data for processing all that. And after that, all was dispatched on a loudspeaker array. And also the sound capture inside the instrument was used for visual display, as I will show you. So sound capture, this is a view of the instrument. So in this instrument, there are 3 main parts in the case. Here is what we call positive de Do. That is really in front of the tribune, of the organ loft. The organist is there on the other side. It's the reason why it's called positive de Do, back positive, because it is in the back of the organist. So it's relatively far from the rest of the instrument. The other acoustic part is all this part where you have the second keyboard, grand orgue, on the pedal board. And here you have Reci, which is in a swell box. And Reci is also quite well insulated, sound insulated from the other part of the instrument. We can listen to the same, it was during a concert also, but the same chord extract in the church and in the different cases. So it is played by the left hand is playing in the Reci, the right hand and pedal are playing grand orgue on pedal, and this is what we can listen in the church. So in the Reci, so you listen that alors in the grand orgue, in the positive, so one can consider that there is a good separation between the different parts of the instrument. So it's reasonable to record in one part and to transform the sound. So digital audio effects. it's based on a max, not max, a PDE patch. I prepare the patch for you, but I don't have microphones and sound card. So this is the patch. We'll try to change the size. No, I can't. So this is part of the patch. So basically, you have the microphones input here, mixing, and on this part you have loudspeaker output. And you have different parts, different effects that are programmed and that you can change. And you have electronic cues, that's the term employed by Markus Nörsternig. So you kind of prepare registrations. When you change the cue, you change the input. Here, you can input the microphone from réci or positif, or left, center, or right of grand orgue. And you can change, for example, here there is a delay line. So if you want 2 seconds of delay, you put 2000 milliseconds. It's logical. And so in this particular patch, we have 3 types of effects. One are multiple delay lines, and the other is an harmonizer, and the third one is a string simulation, Car plus strong algorithm. You can pilot all that with a MIDI controller, so you need a musician to play with the effect and also to start the effect. It's possible to do that alone, but it's much more comfortable with somebody else. Okay, that's the patch. Okay, so let's start again. Okay, thank you, Philippe. So the first class of effects is the harmonizer. So the harmonizer, we use it mainly on flue pipes, and in order to make additive effects. Because flue pipes contain only a few harmonics, maybe 1, 2, 3 dominant harmonics. It's not very rich. And historically, flue pipes were used for kind of additive synthesis by combination of octaves and fifths and thirds and things like that. This is the spectrogram of, I think it is the Preston, the 4-foot flute of the instrument, of the positive. And this is first C, C sharp, D, etc., etc. So you see that there are not so much harmonics. And then there are room for augmentation. You can add something because the sound is not really very rich. So the harmonizer works quite well with this type of pipes. So the harmonizer uses a pitch shift version of the sound. It's a classical effect. And you can play with the pitch shift. Mainly, we found 3 classes of effect. If you have a very small shift, so you add the sound to the same sound but with a small deviation, it's like detuning a pipe. So you have a kind of ondulation of the sound. If you use pure intervals like a minor third or a fifth, it produces a kind of chorus effect, like the mixtures in the organ. You can make a kind of artificial tierce or nasal. But it's not as interesting as a real one, but you can use that anyway if you want to give some modal color to the sound. And if you use large intervals, like it sounds like bells or metal. So this is a sound inside. That is the spectrogram of this music recorded inside and outside with the harmonizer. So you see that inside, like you listened a few minutes ago, the sound is very precise and dry, and outside, okay. So the sound inside is there. Oops, sorry. So a very dry sound on outside. Another use, like metal plates, something like that. So the flute is without effects, and the accompaniment is with this kind of effect. For reeds, on the contrary, the sound is already very rich. It's impossible. This is the trumpet of the positive. Again, the first C, C sharp, D, etc. So it's almost impossible to add something. Because the acoustic space is already filled with all sorts of harmonics. So for this type of sound, it's better to try to use some subtractive synthesis, where you shape, you consider that as a source, and you shape the sound. So a way to implement subtractive synthesis is to use the Karplus-Strong algorithm, which is based on a daily line with filter. And you can control the position of sorts of formants, like in the voice, and apply to the, this is the inner sound of a reed pipe. Like a klaxon. It sounds like that inside the instrument, that's the sound. And when you apply the subtractive filtering, oops. With sort of formants. And again, on the spectrogram, here you see the sound inside the case, pop, 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 pop. And here you see sort of formants that are introduced by the effect. So other types of effects are delay effects. So again, depending on the delay you use, you have very different effects. For very short delay, you have only a change in the attack. You build up the sound. For medium delays, you have a sort of chorus effect. And for long delays, you have a loop. So you can play with the sound you just recorded and things like that. So an example of medium delay. In this example, there are four delays, 200, 400, and 600, and 800 milliseconds. So it's the reason why you listen wow, 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 wow. And with a long delay, so this is without touching the keys, so playing only with the sound of the wind inside the instrument, the circulation of the wind, and with somebody playing with the bellows. So it's you see. So it's not only electronic because somebody is playing with a pump. So you can also make acoustic effects that sound electronic without any electronic, of course, like that. Playing with incomplete opening of the palette. So sound diffusion, as I said in the first concert, we put many loudspeakers around the audience, but it allows for particular effects like classical turning sound, like that. But of course, if you use that, it's really an array of loudspeakers and an organ. It's not really an augmented organ. It's rather organ plus electronic. So I will say a few words on video augmentation. In the first project, there was 3 video projectors for covering the facade of the instrument. So 1 here in the altar and 2 on each side. So the idea of the artist who designed the visual part was to use the pipes, visible pipes of the organ like view meters, like electronic view meters. So when you play the sound, you see the at the place where the sound is played, in the positive or Reci or Gantorg, you see more or less view meters moving. So to make that, the projectors are projecting on the instrument a picture of the instrument, and through a mask he had the view meters. Just to show the principle. So you project on the instrument, and you, depending on the sound, you change that. So you have just to make a very precise calibration of the picture to light just the part you want to light. So it's time to show some pictures. The first picture were taken from a project 4 years ago now in an art science festival for the city of Paris. The aim was to explain science to a large public, a large audience, and to create some art also in this context. So the program was a classical program with Couperin, Bach, Franck, Messiaen, and electronic pieces together. And the visual part was for all the pieces. So this is a short video that we made after to show the installation and result. So this is the first projector. This is Marcus Westerning. And this is Bertrand Plane, the guy who made the artistic design. And the instrument. So calibration of the video. So this is installation. with artificial reverberation. Yeah. So it was in May. So in May in Paris, you have much light in the evening. So it's the reason why at the beginning it was clear, and at the end it was dark. Okay. Oops. So we did other concerts. This is a concert we did 2 years ago, 1 year and a half ago in Lille for the opening concert of the Journée du Patrimoine. Again, the program was also a classical program and special music for that with Grigny, Bach, Liszt, and Messiaen. This is a short video that the city of Lille made of the event. So you see on the screen the copy of the For this project, there was only one projector at the end of the church, a big one. So, in summary, so there's a successful fusion of the direct sound on live electronics. I mean, all the sound is coming from the same source. So it's really an augmented instrument rather than a pipe organ plus electronics project. And we tried different kind of effects and obtaining different kind of sounds, and tried to make a kind of catalog of the possible sounds and effects. As I said, using flue pipes, reed pipes, delay effects, and wind and action noise. And we tried also motion and space-related effect, but I'm not very convinced for the moment. The audiovisual fusion is convincing. Of course, it's not a through visualization, but in one concert, for example, there were many children, and when they applaud, they remarked that it changed the visual display. So during the concert, at sometimes they just to to see it. So it gives a feedback and it renders the organ more close to people. I think there is something to study there, and the interaction when you see the music and you hear the music, something happens. And but maybe there are many studies on that. I don't know. You know probably better than me. So I think that in the pipe organ there is a better blending than for other instruments, just because of the size of the instrument. And now we have to search for new sound, new effects, new visualization also, how to show what happens in the sound. And to study also the audiovisual fusion and mutual reinforcement. And in the ongoing project, new concerts. And probably we shall organize workshops for composers and organists just to try, play and try. And there is a recording, ongoing recording for Edition Hortus, which is an organ company in France. It's all.